Hello, grade 5. Today, before taking our grammar, the present perfect, we will talk about how to form a sentence. And this is important to know how to form a sentence. Why? You will see now. Here, how to form a sentence. Subject, verb, object. I study English every day. I is the subject, study is the verb, and English every day is the object. Here, a question for you, and let's answer with each other. So, identify the subject, the verb, and the object in each of the following sentences. So the first one, she bought a new dress yesterday. What is the subject here? Yes, she. What is the verb? Bought. What is the object? A new dress yesterday. So now, I will give you now 10 seconds to identify, means to know, the subject, the verb, and the object. So think about it. Okay, so now, how to know the tense of the sentence? You will know the tense of the sentence when you look at the verb. So, if you want to know the tense, if it's a present simple, past simple, you will look at the verb of the sentence. So, you should divide the sentence into subject, verb, object. Then, look at the verb, you will know the tense. For example, I study English every day. The subject I, the verb study, the object English every day. What is the verb study? So, study is a main verb, present simple. So, what is the tense of the sentence? Present simple. So, another question here. Identify the tense in each of the following sentences. So, let's start now. The first one. She bought a new dress yesterday. How to know the tense of the sentence? Look at the verb. What is the verb here? Bought. Bought is in the past simple, so the sentence is past simple sentence. Number 2. The pupils enjoy their school day. What is the tense? Look at the verb. The verb enjoy also is a main verb, present simple. Number 3. Sandy is doing her homework. What is the verb here? Is doing. So the verb is doing is present continuous. So the sentence is present continuous. Number 4. My brother was having his dinner at 8. So here, what is the verb here? Was having. Was having is a past continuous. So the sentence is past continuous. So now, the present perfect. I know that you have taken this tense last year. Do you remember it? The present perfect tense. What is the meaning of the present perfect tense? It's the verb of the sentence in the present perfect shape or form. So let's see now. For example, here the first usage of the present perfect. You use the present perfect to talk about number 1. This is number 1, the first usage. We use present perfect to talk about actions finished in the past in indefinite time. So now let's read this sentence. I have finished my homework. Here, what is the verb here? Yes, it's have finished. Have plus past participle verb, so it's a present perfect. Here, I use the present perfect to talk about action that finished in the past, but the time is unknown. So, can you see any time here? No. So, if you want to talk about an action finished in the past and you don't know the time, or you don't want to tell us the time, don't use the past simple, use the present perfect verb. After that, so this action finished in the past, but the time is not mentioned. This means the time is not here in the sentence. So another usage for the present perfect verb. In fact, also, if you want to talk about past actions, you tell me, mister, if I want to talk about past actions, I use past simple or past continuous. I tell you, Also, you can use present perfect to talk about past actions. As I told you before in the first usage, if you want to talk about past action and you don't want to say the time, so you use present perfect. Also, if you want to talk about experience, what is the meaning of experience? Something you have seen before in your life, in the past. Place you have visited in the past in your life before. It's called experience. So here, present perfect verb, but we are gonna now take new words. Ever, never, before. So, if you want to talk about experience in the past, you use present perfect verb plus ever or never or before in one sentence, and let's see how to do it. The first sentence, look at it here. Is it a full stop sentence or a question? Yes, it's a question. Have you ever seen this film? Here, I ask you about something you did in the past or not, but it's experience. So, if you want to ask about experience, use the present perfect verb plus ever in the question. Let's see the formation of this question. Helping verb have or has, subject like you, ever, verb in the past participle, object this film. This is the formation. Here to talk about an experience in the past, but using a question. Number 2, present perfect verb plus never. Also to talk about experience, but negative experience. An experience you didn't do in the past. For example, place you haven't seen before or you haven't invested before in your life. Something you haven't seen before in your life. So it's an experience you don't know it. So when you want to talk about this experience, you will talk about it but in a negative way because you didn't do it. So here, he has never seen this film. It's an experience, but he didn't do this experience. So he will use present perfect verb plus never. What is the place of never in the sentence between the helping verb have, has, and the past participle verb? So here we talk about negative experience. And again, negative experience, it's an experience we didn't do, we haven't done in our life. So here, a situation you don't know. If there is an experience, you don't know anything about it. You didn't do in your life, so you don't know anything about it. Like, here, he has never seen this film. This means he doesn't know anything about this film. He doesn't know the action of the film. He doesn't know anything about this experience. So here he used the present perfect plus never. After that, present perfect verb plus before. Also to talk about experience. Here, to talk about experience, he hasn't seen this film before. So, can you see here, this verb is affirmative verb or negative verb? Yes, it's a negative verb. So also, if you want to talk about negative experience, you can use before. But if you use before, you will make the verb negative. And also, he has seen this film before. If you want to talk about experience, you really did. So you can also use before. So positive experience, negative experience, present perfect verb plus before. And to your surprise, you can also use before to ask like ever. So if you want to ask people about experience they did in the past or not, you can use ever and also you can use before. But here, the place of ever and the place of before is different. If you remember, ever is here between the subject and the verb in the past participle, but before is in the object place in the question. So helping verb, subject, verb in the past participle, object, this film before. Have you seen this film before? Have you ever seen this film? The same meaning, the same talking, asking about experience, using ever, before, what you want. If you want to use ever, use ever. If you want to use before to ask about experience. And the answer could be, I have seen this film before. Yes. So, if you really did this experience in the past, you will say, yes, I have seen this film before. So also, you can use before to answer about positive experience. So, positive experience is an experience you really did. If the experience is negative and you didn't do it in your life, you will use I haven't seen this film before. And also, you will use never. But the difference here, if there is before, the verb is negative. If there is never, the verb is affirmative. Why? Because never is negative. And here, I don't need to make the verb negative. Okay? So after that, already. It's another word, I can use it plus the present perfect verb. To talk about something, what is the thing? It's also thing in the past. As I told you, if you want to talk about or ask about experience in the past, so you will use present perfect verb plus ever or never or before. It's better than using the past simple. And also here, if you want to ask about something, if it's really done in the past or not, you want to make sure, like if you are a teacher and you want to make sure if your students have done their homework or not, you will use the present perfect plus already. Like this here. Has he already done his work? Here, I ask if he really has done his homework or not, because I want to make sure if the action is really finished or not. So, if you want to make sure if the action is really finished or not, use present perfect verb plus already and the question. Here, to have others make sure about an action you have done. For example, I have already done my homework. If you want me to make sure that you really did the action, you will tell me, I have already done my homework. You will use a present perfect verb plus already. What is the place of already here? It's between have or has and the verb in the past participle. This is for already, for making sure. If you want to ask to make sure, or if you want to make people make sure that you really did the action. So again, if you want people to make sure that you really did the action, you will use present perfect verb and already. I have already done my homework. You say it because you want other people to make sure that you really finished the action. After that, present perfect verb plus a new word called just. If you did an action in the past, but this action finished a short time ago, you can use two ways to talk about it. For example, the first example, he has just come. Or you can use the past simple. He came a short time ago. So, he came a short time ago. It's the same meaning and usage like the present perfect verb and just. He has just came. This means he finished the action a short time ago. So, again, if you want to talk about action and action finished a short time ago, you can use the past simple, like he came a short time ago, or you can use the present perfect plus just. He has just come.